G'day, legends. I know at this point in Fight Week, you are probably sick about hearing about this, and quite frankly, I'm actually a little bit sick about talking about this. I actually wasn't even going to make this video today, all right? I was going to make a video about how Michael Chandler has staph infection. Michael Chandler has staph infection, by the way. But after seeing the absolute embarrassment that was the Jon Jones media day yesterday, I don't know how you can have an MMA channel and not make a video like this just for prosperity. I am not joking when I say, quite literally, Jon Jones's media day yesterday, from the press conference that we saw to all the other things that sort of happened around it, he even ducked he ran away from an interview with a British person. He is that scared of Tom Aspinall. I don't know how you can have an MMA YouTube channel and not talk about just how bad it was. I've been watching UFC, MMA since the Conor McGregor era. I've done so much like back-end homework because I've loved the sport so much, gone back and watched so much stuff back throughout the history of MMA. I have never seen a performance at a media day so embarrassing in my life. Even from politicians, out of all the presidential debates we have ever had, I have never, ever seen anything as embarrassing as Jon Jones's day was yesterday. I just got to make this video for history, to just get it all out, lay it all out, and put it there. So we're going to break it down today. It was so bad, I don't even know if I can consider Jon Jones in a GOATS list at all, even in a top 5 or a top 10 GOATS list. Considering all the drug and accusations that he has had before, and then considering the loss to Reyes and how he has ducked previous opponents in the past, to see something like this, if people are going to say that Mighty Mouse doesn't count in your GOAT conversation because of the lack of competition that he had, this is like, what, you're going to say your GOAT ended his career by running away from interviews? He was that scared of a guy? Let's break it all down one by. Even the eye-poking allegations came out yesterday with the way that he was talking about the old gloves versus the new gloves. Let's break it down. We gotta make a list about this. So sorry about the long intro, but this video is about Jon Jones's most embarrassing day in history. And considering everything that Jon Jones has done in his life, this might not even be it might just be the most recent embarrassing. It's bad. It's real bad. Let's get into it. All right, let's start out from the top. The press conference, the press scramble. He says very clearly, I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. I don't understand how fans think I'm ducking Tom Aspinall. He just does nothing for me, right? He goes, I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall just because Tom Aspinall is 7 years younger than me, bigger than me, stronger than me. He possesses a great challenge for me. Why would I risk losing against him? What would I gain from that? That is Jon Jones's own words. Check out the video, man. And you've seen the other clips.
What are those fans getting wrong? Why are you not ducking Tom Aspinall? What are they reading wrong about this situation?
Okay, so I feel like the narratives have been created that just truly aren't there. You can't duck a man that you were never scheduled to fight. It's like saying you got turned down by a girl you never even hit on. You know what I'm saying? I get that Tom is an exciting fighter. I get that finally, after 16 years, we found somebody who's 7 years younger than me and 30 pounds bigger than me. Like, we finally found someone who may give me a great challenge. And everyone wants to see it so bad. But for me, it's like, what's in it for me? He changes nothing if I beat him. Beating Tom is just like beating Cyril Gane. Has a whole country behind him. He's hot right now. What happens to me after I beat him? Nothing changes for me. So I'm not ducking Tom Aspinall. If I failed to fight Stipe, I would be ducking Stipe because we contractually have been signed up to fight over a year ago. The Tom narrative came out of nowhere. He won a belt and now suddenly I'm ducking him. I've never had negotiations to even fight him, if this makes sense.
So that's one portion of it. And another portion of it, he literally says, why would I risk losing against him? It's too much for me to chop out the entire pre-fight press scramble. Please go see it for yourself. But he does say, why would I risk losing against him? And he goes on to say, I'm not ducking him. I just don't see any reason to fight him. Now, John, I know that this is a very hard concept for old men to grasp and understand. But what you are doing on Saturday is competing for a belt that claims that you are the best in that division, in that weight class at the time. And what you are going to do after that is say that I left as a heavyweight champion, which implies that you were the best heavyweight at the time. But what you are also doing on that very same weekend is pointing out that there is someone in that division that might be better than you, and it's not very smart for you to fight him. So you would rather give up that belt and walk away, right? If that is not ducking, I do not know what is. You are quite literally dipping out of the division, ducking out of the division, you could say, and going off and doing something else. and you have explained how and why you are ducking him in the paragraph that came after I am not ducking Tom Aspinall. Also, this whole what did the Cyril Gane fight do for me? Nothing. I don't know, mate. Got you an undisputed heavyweight title. How about that? Did that not add to your legacy? Then, in the pre-fight scramble, in the embarrassing ramble that was the Jon Jones pre-fight scramble, the new gloves come up. Now, I need to make a correction because on the live stream the other day, I pointed out how the new gloves and the old gloves thing is happening in New York just because the New York State Athletic Commission hasn't caught up with the new rules and they don't approve the new UFC gloves. They do. They do. I had someone show me an image of the back end of the New York State Athletic Commission. They are 100% approved. You can use the new gloves. Jon Jones' team spoke to Hunter Campbell and he didn't like the way the gloves felt. He said in this pre-fight press conference, he said he doesn't like the way the new gloves curve the fingers down.
I'm really excited about the old gloves. I got sent a pair of the new gloves several weeks ago. I tried them on and I thought they were tight. I used to fit in XL, and then the new glove I had to put on a 3XL. The shape, curving your hands like that, they were very uncomfortable for me, and I was actually really stressed thinking about how.
He must know what he's doing. He must know about the allegations about him being a drug cheat. He must know about the allegations about how people say that he pokes people in the eye on purpose, and how he could sit up there with a straight face and say, I don't like the new gloves too much because they curl my fingers down, is insane to me. The guy is a psycho. Jon Jones, the eye poke king, has it at a press conference on record talking about how he doesn't like gloves that curve his fingers down. This is the amount of things that line up from yesterday. It is unbelievable that somebody could say these things so blatantly and then walk around and still act like the king of the sport. He went on to do another interview where he said he doesn't really want to fight for the belt anymore. He just wants to fight some random fun names, guys. Just some random wacky matchups that'll do fun things for his legacy. Like Jamal Hill. Like, why don't I weigh in at 220 pounds and stand there with Jamal Hill just to see what happens, guys? Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I can see myself. I can see myself after this entertaining super fights only. You know, after this fight, if we get a dominant performance, I'm prepared to vacate the heavyweight championship and fight for fun. And I want to fight for fun. But I just want to fight for fun. You know, I think about one of my teammates, Donald Cowboys around me. You know, he just fights. Win, lose, or draw, he just fights. And I was, you know, it's just random fights. You know, like you know, Jamal Hill, me and him meet up at 220 and see what happens. That'd be interesting to see what happens. You know, or I'm at an interesting weight where I can fight light heavyweights or heavyweights. You know, Derek Lewis, the biggest knockout power, not puncher in history. I'm just throwing out random names, but I'm at a.
What do you think is going to happen, John? If you go in there at 220 pounds against just chinned Jamal Hill, who at best was ranked number like 7th or 11th before he got to luckily fight for a title and then was instantly fraud checked. Probably the only fraud checked champion we would have. Maybe one of the top two. You got Jamal Hill and Matt Serra. That's the cloth from which Jamal Hill is cut. What do you reckon would happen, John? And then he goes on to say, or how about Derek Lewis, guys? Wouldn't that be fun? You know, remember Derek Lewis from back in the day, another old vet who can't even weigh in at heavyweight anymore. His guts are so messed up. Wouldn't that be fun, guys? He's mentioning anyone but Tom Aspinall. And then the really embarrassing thing here is he has just spent the last maybe 48, 72 hours. I think we've had 4 or 5 interviews from Jon Jones this week where he is talking about how Tom Aspinall doesn't deserve the fight because of the legacy. And then he goes on to say, well, why don't I just have some fun fights, guys? Oh, anyone else? Anything else, guys, anything else other than Tom Aspinall, please stop asking me about. I'll fucking fight anyone else. I can't. I know speechless is the wrong word because I'm making a bloody 10-minute video on it, mate. But like, it's so bad. It's so bad. Let's move on. There's more. Can you believe there is actually more to this steaming pile of dog shit that is Jon Jones? Then the creme de la creme of the Jon Jones duck fest. Jon Jones just flat out walks out of an interview and doesn't want to do an interview with Britain's own TNT Sports because the host of the interview, the presenter, is friends with Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall has a show on TNT Sports where he breaks down fights with this guy that Jon Jones wants to interview. Jon Jones walks in, he is a British accent, and he just goes, yeah, no. He is the British accent. He's like, nah, mate, I'm not doing this. And just fucking sends it towards the door.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Going well.
You okay?
Going well.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Good, man. Good. Have a seat, sir.
I you guys in, but
Hey, I'm not gonna do this interview.
You don't want to do it?
No, because it's gonna be an Aspinall fest. I'm not gonna. Come on, let's go.
It's like, Guru pointed this out this week. DC has to do interviews all week about both the guys that beat him up, Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. Straight face, playing it as a gentleman. DC has to break down the head kick that knocked him out. He was a victim of, because Jon Jones was on so many steroids, the fight had to get overturned to a no competition. I can't stress to you how rare that is to have a fight turned over to a no competition. The amount of things that we see week in, week out, where we wish the commission would go back and look at a fight, it never happens. It happened for this fight because Jon Jones was such a steroid abuser. And DC has to break that down all week, and he does it. He does it like a gentleman, right? How often do we see fighters and analysts over at the ESPN desk whenever there's a slow fight night going on at the Apex, and they have to talk to each other, and they do it in a healthy competition way? But Jon Jones walks in, he has a British accent, the suggestion of another Tom Aspinall question, and just runs out of the room faster than lightning, mate. When Tom Aspinall said that he was going to retire Jon Jones before he even fights him, he was right. He was 100% correct. How is this your GOAT? If you have this, how is a drug-cheating eye poker that doesn't want to answer questions about someone in his own division wants to walk around acting like he's the best heavyweight in the world? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. He has had a horrible career where he has done, not a horrible career. He's had a fairly decent career all the way up to the Ovince St. Preux fight. Ever since then, he has been taking people like Anthony Smith to a decision, a one-kneed Thiago Santos to a decision, lost to Dominic Reyes, ducked Francis Ngannou, ducked the rematch with Reyes, he's ducking Alex Pereira. He has had more drug cheating accusations than anybody in the history of our sport and been done for drug usage. How is he anybody's GOAT? How is anyone, and there are still, go to any comment section, there are still people cheering for Jon Jones. It blows me away. It really does blow me away how anyone is in Jon Jones's corner anymore. It is, without a doubt, the most embarrassing media day I have ever seen in my life from anyone in any profession. And I am shocked at someone who has such a big ego like Jon Jones, someone who takes the time to privately message fans and content creators online and brag about how good he is. I am shocked that someone that has such a big ego could have such a horribly embarrassing day almost every single time a microphone was put in front of him. Every single interview since the start of the week, the Kevin Ioli interview, right up to the last interview of the day that he ran away from. It has been just a line of embarrassment from Jon Jones. And as much as I wanted to make a video about anything else today, because I've made so many Jon Jones videos this week, it got capped off in that TNT moment. And this needed to be made to just put it all right there. When we go forward on this channel, when we go forward as MMA fans and we talk about who is the GOAT, when we make our top 10 GOATs list, when Jon Jones's name comes up and people want to talk down Fedor because he never signed with the UFC, and they want to talk down Mighty Mouse because the level of competition in his division at the time wasn't the strongest, and people want to talk down GSP because he didn't defend against Robert Whittaker, and because of the Matt Hamill fight. I know I'm not getting that name right, but you know what I'm saying. His last fight that was too close and he didn't want to come back and rematch it. When all these little things get pointed out about the other GOATs, this week is going to go down in MMA history for Jon Jones as just a horrible, horrible week. And it doesn't matter even if he starches Stipe in the first round or blasts a double leg straight away because he's been training with Craig Jones. This has been a horrible week for Jon Jones. And if you're a Jon Jones fan, I'm sorry. That was embarrassing. That's it. Boys, I will see you at UFC 309 live stream. Until then, I will see you guys next week. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. If it's your first time here, g'day, my name's Dougie. I try and make an MMA video every single day. I go live about 3 times a week, and we do live fight companions. I reckon it's a pretty good channel. Yeah, I reckon the channel's all right. So hit that subscribe button. If you're already on board with the channel, genuinely, I'm sorry for yet another Jon Jones video, but I do feel like it was justified. So hit that like button, and I will see you all in the next video, in the next live stream. See you, boys.